We're now going to go through the entire mail merge process using the wizard. And I've got a document here. It's a generic letter that we've got that normally we open it up and we fill in the details for who's getting it and put in a date, etc., and then it prints off, we sign it. But instead I'd like to send it to everybody off of my mailing list all in one go. Save me a bit of time. So I click on the Mailings tab. It shows my ribbon, and I start my mail merge. And at the very bottom, I have step-by-step mail merge wizard. So I click on this, and the pane at the side shows up. And I'm just going to resize that a little bit so you can see the whole letter. And it asks me what type of document do I have. Do I have a letter, an email message, an envelope, a label, directory? I have a letter. So I click on Next. And then it asks me, is it the current document? Am I going to start from a template or start from an existing document? So if I'd started this without opening this document, I could always search for it. But I'm just going to use the current document. Then I click on Next. So use an existing list, Outlook contacts, or a new list. So I can choose to use my Outlook contacts or type something in from scratch. But I've created something, so I'm going to use an existing list. I'm going to browse for it. And this list should be on my SkyDrive. I'm going to choose the Excel spreadsheet. And it comes up and it gives me the sheet name, and I'm like, yes, that is it. And the first row of my data does contain my column headings. So I click on OK. When I created that spreadsheet, I made sure that the headings were started in cell A1. No blank rows above. And this way I have my list. And then I just OK. And I could select a different list. If I'd opened it up and thought, ooh, that actually isn't the list, I can go through and select the correct one. Or I can also go back and edit the recipient list. If I didn't want to send it to someone, I can untick these boxes. Click on OK. And now I can click on Next. Now in step 4, I actually write my letter. Now in this case, I've actually written pretty much most of it. I just need to add the merge fields, which I have over here. You can see all of my address information goes here. Delete that. And I'd like an address block. What it does is it previews over here. And on this side, you can see that I can choose different formats. I can also insert or not insert the postal address and format addresses according to their destination countries or regions. This means that if I'm going to send things over to Europe, North America, Australia, Asia, wherever, each country seems to have a different format of the way they put their addresses or would like the addresses put together. And do we want Microsoft to automatically do that for us if it knows? But I can see here that there is a problem with my address anyway. But it's not a problem from any of these. It's actually this thing at the bottom, this correct problems. If items in my address block are missing, which they are, the county is missing, use the match fields, and that's this little button down here, which when I click on it, it opens a new window. And it matches up Microsoft headings with your data source headings. So you can see, required for address block, first name, last name, etc. And optional information is all down here. And state is not matched because I didn't have anything called state. And you just click on the drop down. It shows all of your fields. You then select the one that is equivalent to or similar information to, and in this case it's county. And address 2 I didn't have a company, a suffix, no country, etc. Now, if I'm going to use this list often, the same list, what I can do is I can tick this box and it will remember this set. So remember, county matches up with state whenever I use this set of data on this computer. So if I went to somebody else's computer, then it wouldn't remember, but on this computer it would. I'm not going to, because this was just downloaded from a database, so I just OK it. That's it. And now it adds in my county. I can also use the arrow keys at the top to move between the records. And when I'm happy, I just OK it. It doesn't add in the entire address. It adds in just a little line that says address block. Our next step, we'll see what this looks like. But now I'd like to go down to the dear, the salutation, and see what the greeting line does. Now the greeting line, I've got this dear here. I can change that to 2. And then what do I like? I would like just the first name, because these are customers and I know them pretty well. So I'd like just to have a first name, and then at the end I think I'm going to have a colon. If I don't have a name, I'd like dear sir, madam. I'm going to preview what it looks like. Oh, that looks pretty good. I don't think I need to correct anything, but if I did, I could match fields. And first name's the only one I need on this one. So now I OK it, and I get my greeting line. Now in my data, or in my letter I should say, I would like to have a date added in automatically. So I'm going to get rid of this date, and instead of that I'd like the date that's in my data source. So what I'm going to do is, it's not electronic postage, it's more items. I select date and I insert. If I had more, I could, what I can do is I can just insert them and move them. You can't click out while you're in this window. So a lot of times I'll just insert a bunch of these fields and then move them around after, because when you click on them they all highlight, and you can then highlight them and move them. Now I'm thinking this looks pretty good. Don't think there's any mistakes, so I'd like to actually see what it looks like, because I could have made a mistake. So we click on next to preview our letter, and it previews, and I think, oh, I have made a mistake. I've put dear. This greeting line contains dear, but I type dear in. So if I delete that, then that looks better. And I've got my date in. I can check what the recipients look like. If I find somebody that I don't want to send a letter, maybe I saw this person yesterday and I mentioned this and we discussed this and made any changes, etc. to the contract, I could then exclude the recipient. And then that recipient, number 12, you can see over here, recipient 11, recipient 13, 12 is now gone. And if I edit my recipient list, it's unticked. So it's quite handy. And you can go through all of them, or not. It's up to you. Then I click on next to say that I'd like to finish it, and I've got 2 choices. I can print it, so I can send it directly to the printer. It's the old do not pass go. It just goes straight there. And it also is, or I can edit individual letters. And the edit individual letters will create one large document with one letter after another. Now this one is my preferred method, because if you do that, then you can actually take a cursory look through them, and if there is a little bit of a comment or a tweak that you need to make to specific letters, you can actually do that easily before they go to the printer. So I'm going to click on Edit Individual Letters, and you can choose to merge all of them, just the current one, or from certain record numbers. I'm going to do all, click on OK, and then eventually okay, I should be able to scroll through, and I've got my second letter, etc. So all it does is it shows me one letter after another. I could then go through and say for Ralph here, I'd like to say, instead of since we're always driving, blah, 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 is there any way we can help you? There we go. But nobody else had asked about this new service, so I'm not going to mention that for anybody else. Then I can print this or save it, etc. And that's the mail merge using the mail merge wizard.